Ryan Kent get an extra couple of weeks off.
Yeah.
So these guys ain't up to speed yet. And when I played, I don't know if John felt the same. It took me 3-4 games into the league season to actually feel if I was at 100%. So they're playing a bit of catch up. As I said, Malmo are 14 games into their season. They're really fit and they're a good team, Rob. Let's be honest with you. They've got some really good players. But again, I still believe if Morelos, Aribo are going to be available next week, Rangers will be stronger after the weekend's game at Dundee United. I've no concerns that Rangers have got enough.
And John Hartson, at this stage of the season, a week further on is massive, isn't it, in terms of the progress and improvement and the sharpness that you can find?
Yeah, well, as Barry just alluded to there, you've got Dundee United away on Saturday morning. So when you get through that one, hopefully, you know, from a Rangers point of view, you'll get the right result, and then you've got that extra little bit of time then before the second leg comes. But I have no doubts, Gordon, that Rangers are more than capable of beating Malmo in the return leg. You're only a goal behind, and I said earlier on that how many games the Rangers play at home, both in Europe and in the league, and not score, especially with the crowd that you'll have. I played at Ibrox many times myself. When there's a full house there, it can be very, very intimidating. And Celtic Park's the same. And opposition teams don't like coming. People will say, yeah, they can't like coming, it's the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. But they don't like coming to places like Ibrox and Celtic Park because the atmosphere is absolutely rocking. It's intimidating. And I have no doubts that Rangers can turn this around. You know, that big goal from Stephen Davis, we keep talking about it. It was huge because at 2-0, Malmo would have fancied it. They'd have gone, look, even if we concede one bad goal, let's make sure we get back in. But now all of a sudden Rangers just need the one and they're back in it. And if they get the one, I think Malmo could collapse and then Rangers could go and get 2 or 3. But I wouldn't be too concerned. The performance last night, as we just mentioned, it was concentration. Just after they get in at half time, they think they're doing okay. All of a sudden, it's concentration. Before you know it, you're 2 goals down, but you showed great belief, credit with, confidence within the group, that character. You got back in it, and that goal was huge. And I think that goal almost wins you the tie. That Stephen Davis goal, that late one, to make it 2-1. And I wouldn't be overly concerned. I think Rangers will get through.
It's incredible psychologically, isn't it, what one goal does, because it gives Rangers a big lift right at the end of the game that they badly needed. And you think about the effect, Barry, that it has on Malmo as well, who, with seconds to go in the game are thinking they're taking a 2-0 to Ibrox.
Yeah, they're getting into the dressing room right after that final whistle, and they'll be down in the dumps because they're thinking at 2-0 we've got a real opportunity here. So that for me, Rangers showed great character last night and spirit. It wasn't their best performance, we all know that. I put it down to a number of factors. As I'd mentioned, a bit of rustiness still early in the season, but that goal for Stevie Davis makes it a hell of a lot easier getting back to Ibrox, because I do believe that they just need a bit of patience and calmness.
Sorry, can I just jump in?
You can, Gordon, yeah.
So, sorry, it was just to say, to reiterate what Barry's saying there. I think you seen it. See when the ball hit the back of the net last night when Davis scored. You seen the reaction of the Malmo players, because see the last sort of 20 minutes when we actually started coming in and playing a bit of football, because we never done it for the full first half, and the start of the second half we were shambolic, and I think Malmo thought this might be a bit easier than what they thought it was. And then when we started playing a bit of football, you seen it when it was getting to Malmo's back line, when they were clearing it, they were punting it up to absolutely nobody. They were more than happy to take the 2-0 back to Ibrox. And I think you've seen how devastating it was on their players, especially their captain, who literally dropped his knees, put his head in the park. You could see it really hurt them. And I think they kind of underestimated us through the game. I don't think they'll be looking forward to coming next week, especially.
But Gordon, you mentioned there, the look on the Malmo players' face of disappointment. You should see the look of the Rangers players on the bench. They were absolutely, delighted to have got that goal back. So almost suddenly say, we're back in this now. Yeah. It's huge from 2-0. And as I said, Malmo would have really fancied coming to Ibrox at 2-0. Yeah, they'd have been a bit cautious not to concede early. Yeah. But all of a sudden now it's 1 goal in it. And as I said, you are going to be concerned because it's such a tremendous feat if you can get through to play Ludogorets or Olympiacos. But
and I think Steven
he'll
Gerrard
get
looks
through.
forward to next week and thinks, he's going to have one or two players back. The ones who played last night are going to be that bit better and fitter and sharper, and a full house at Ibrox to lift them.
Yep, John actually said it earlier on. You could have played in a lot of stadiums, but you see here at Ibrox, at Celtic Park, European nights, it's absolute electric. And some of these players won't experience that ever before. So that is so important for Rangers next week. Having the fans behind them. And I believe, listen, I think he'll come out the traps. They've got to go for the throat against Malmo. And if they do that, they win the game.
Tell Alexa to launch Go Radio or listen on the Go Radio app.